Good evening. My name is Patricia A. Jackson, and I'm a writer. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, in 1977, I was 8 years old when I stood in line to see this film created by George Lucas. It was like nothing I had ever seen in my life and changed the way that I would think about writing and playing on my playground forever. I was a horse-crazy little girl who never grew out of the passion, much to my father's chagrin. My first novel that I wrote that night at 8 years old was about a little girl saving the galaxy with her magical horses, each the color of the rainbow. Who needs the force when you have a horse? But I had been taught to believe that to be beautiful, one had to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and fair-skinned. I did not see myself represented among the heroes, not in Star Wars, not in Lord of the Rings that would come later. Therefore, I could not be the hero or beautiful. So I did something daring. I created a world for Black people in a galaxy far, far away, but the damage was done. I was too afraid to say that Drake Paulson was Black, just that he was dark-skinned. My father was raised in Alabama and had taught me never to call attention to myself because there was a danger in doing that. My editors were very impressed and they wanted to see more, so I wrote a source book about the world of Socorro. George Lucas has declared that Lando Calrissian is from my world, a world I created, but no one knew of my identity crisis and that I was trapped between worlds. So I retreated to my playground and hid, mostly from myself. The writer's playground is a sacred place with imaginary friends. It's where I fly my TIE fighter, tame unicorns, and ride dragons. This is my happy place, and it's usually, if you see me staring off in the distance, where I am, talking with my inner 8-year-old. My inner 8-year-old is 8 years old, and she is royalty, a Sith princess. I never leave reality without her. She's the director of mayhem, the conductor of mischief, and the administrator of adventure. She's the reason Oz exists, and it is because of her that I am the wizard and not Dorothy. She's the inner voice that often speaks up and gets me into a lot of trouble. When you're on the playground, critics are not allowed. Fear and doubt keep people from writing and telling their stories. Every typo, every grammatical error is a death knell. So bury the reaper, known as the critic. Duct tape them, gag them, handcuff them. There is no time and no place for them ever on the playground. Do you like to make meticulous outlines when you write your stories, or do you just jump off the bridge like I do, a pantser? Writing is not always about the physical act of sitting down and recording the story. Sometimes it's about daydreaming, procrastinating, doodling, procrastinating, mind mapping, napping, before you sit down and tell the story. The first draft has one purpose, to exist. I like to call this unicorn vomit. It's the inner 8-year-old telling their story, and you must never interrupt or correct them. Just listen and go along for the adventure. While writing, you will learn that the process is like mapping the stars. The inner 8-year-old is dropping puzzle pieces, a hint of a character, a scene that makes no sense. Hold on to these moments. Trust the inner 8-year-old. These rogue comets can explode into whole constellations, even galaxies. When you're writing, bring your baggage. If you want authenticity, write about your stories. Writing is a kind of therapy, even an exorcism. Every character is a splinter of who you are, even the dark ones. Give all your pain to your characters and then give them something that you lack, hope. Also bring all your toys to the playground. No matter how silly or trite, it's better to overwrite than to underwrite. This is where daydreaming is essential. Pit James Bond against the Fast and the Furious and see what happens. There are bad days, though, but I don't believe in writer's block. Life gets in the way, and the inner 8-year-old requires naps, long walks, and cake. Often she needs knowledge. Research, research, research. Don't be afraid to go down the rabbit hole. Fall down there. There is something the inner child needs to know in order to learn and grow. My exorcism came with a novel called Forging a Nightmare, a novel that helped me to find who I was in a sea of faces that didn't look like mine. The novel helped me to recover my identity. My debut novel was my exorcism and helped me to reject the standard that heroes had to have blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. Forging a Nightmare is a story about an FBI agent tracking a serial killer who is targeting Nephilim, the descendants of angels. And like me, the Black protagonist is trapped between worlds. To get answers, he has to become one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. For the first time in my life, a character came to me, unapologetically Black. Her name is Anna Boraines. I have dreadlocks because of her. She taught me that I was beautiful with my kinky hair, my curves, and my lovely Black skin. And I will never be sorry for any of it, because I am the standard of my own beauty. Publishing is hard. Writers are like this rider trying to navigate this enormous hurdle. Your manuscript's like your horse. They kick, they bite, they break your heart, and sometimes they cost you money. The stakes are so high, and the trenches are deep. It is not for the faint of heart. My manuscript was rejected 88 times, including by this lady, Sarah Megabo. But a year later, she offered me representation and sent me off to boot camp with my manuscript. Forging a Nightmare was published a year later by Angry Robot Books. So if you ever wanted to write a novel or tell a story, I dare you to answer the call to adventure. Find your way to your playground. It is there, somewhere beneath the fear, the dust. Call to your inner 8-year-old and bring them close. Learn to play and to listen to your imaginary friends without any fear of reprisal or judgment. I hope you find your way. May the Force be with you.